Alright, good morning once again to my students, especially to my grade 7 students. This video is intended for you, the Science 7. Last week I have left you with handouts that you will be using for your reference, no, for the Quipper activities I'll be sending you. However, I've decided that I will be proceeding with the lesson after the one that I gave you, I think the last one I left was your the sound produced by the human voice, which is the last handout that I left you. But I decided to proceed with the next lesson after it, which is the uses of sound. I just want to emphasize that you get to watch this video first before you're going to answer the Quipper quiz. In that Quipper quiz, I'm going to just let you answer that one once, and let's get to see how effective this video lesson would be. So the lesson would be the lesson 13.5, which is the uses of sound. So before we get to proceed, let's go and get to know first the objective of this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain applications of infra, audible, and ultrasound. Alright, since this different stuff were mentioned, let's get to go first and let's get to categorize our sound. So we have what you call your different categories of sound. We have your infrasound, or the infrasonic sound. We have your audible sound, or sometimes in other books they call this one their audible range. And lastly, your ultrasonic sound. For us to be able to distinguish those different categories of sound, it's better for us to know first the audible sound. Alright? So in this case, you get to see that for the audible sound, we start hearing things from 20 Hz until 20,000 Hz. For the human ear, we get to hear only from 20 Hertz until the 20,000 Hertz, or simply your 20 kilohertz. When you talk about your infrasound or infrasonic sound, these are sounds that are below your 20,000 Hertz. Alright, and in that case also, for your ultrasonic sound, that is the one beyond for 20,000 Hertz or 20 kilohertz. So kung tatanungin po tayo, pwede ba nating marinig yung 20 Hertz, or what you call your anything that is 20 below 20 Hertz, like 19, 18, 17, 16, going down 20 Hertz. Narinig po ba natin yung mga sound na yan? Alright, the answer is no. However, there are other creatures or organisms that are able to listen, or to be able are able to hear those different types of sound below the range of the human ear. Alright. Now, for the application of your infrasonic sound, this is usually used for us to be able to what you call this one, detecting or monitoring what you call your volcanic activities in earthquakes. Because in this case, you get to know that your seismic waves, or actually your earthquakes, or the waves that created by your earthquake, is actually through waves. And in that case, because it's as a wave, it's actually also gets to produce sound. What does infrasonic sound do to human? To be honest, when there were studies that were created that infrasonic sounds, when being exposed for a long time for human, causes annoying sound to the point that in humans it causes vertigo, or yung nawawala po ng balance, para pong nahihilo, intolerable sensation, nausea, to name a few. At some point, sometimes it gets to disturb the sleeping pattern of human. Fun facts about your infrasound: there are some few other organisms or even creatures that use infrasound, for them to be able to communicate. Let's get to talk about some few. Alright, do you know that elephants are communicating through infrasounds? This is the reason why they can communicate with one another even at large distances. Let's go now to your audible sound. As I've mentioned, your audible sound or your audible range of the human ear. Human po. We're talking about human because the references or the basis is human. So we have your 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Hanggang dyan lang po kaya ng ears natin. But if you get to compare that one to other animals po, meron pong mga animals ng range nila mas mataas po or mas wider po compared sa human ear. That's the reason why, as I've mentioned in your examples to my grade 8 before, sometimes there are, let's say for example, your dog has the ability to hear some few ultrasonic sounds that are already out of the range of the human ear. That's the reason why they are able to hear sounds that we are not able to hear anymore. Medyo creepy. Actually, if you're into mixing sa mga mixers, there are different frequencies that are being so especially sa paggawa ng mga sound, pag-manipulate ng mga sounds ng mga concerts, just like the one that I'm using right now, which is this one, no? Wait lang, baka mawala yung sound source ko, but I'm using this one, no? This mixer for me to be able to manipulate or record my sound right now. There are many knobs here that's actually related to the frequency of the sound that I get to manipulate for me to be able to taper down bad frequencies of my voice and enhance those good frequencies of my voice. So in this case, no, yung audible sound po natin, this is the reason why we get to usually listen to most sounds. You talk about your audible sounds. Even some animals also, barking, chirping, naririnig po natin yan kasi po within the range of the audible sounds. So, ano pong gamit ng audible sound? No? We already talked about yung gamit po ng infrasonic sound, which is usually for us to be able to monitor and detect yung mga earthquake activity, volcanic and earthquake activities, because yun nga, ganun yung type of sound na nangyayari during those activities done by your earthquake. So sa audible sound, usually this is a way for us to communicate to others. So radio waves, the sound being sent from our voice that is converted to a digital version, then sent through the wires and be able to reach to other side of the world, no? For example, if you get to talk about your telephone, even the voices that is being recorded and is being converted digitally and sent through the signals of the phones whenever we talk through our smartphones. Radio waves, yung mga different types of waves are actually around the audible sound. So normally when you talk about your audible range, this is usually used for the field of communication. So, sa ultrasonic po, ultra meaning mas lampas po na sa dulo. So, we have your 20,000 hertz or simply your 20 kilohertz. Anything that is more than that, 20,100, 20,500, 21,000, 30,000, 100,000, yun po. Anything that is more than 20,000 is considered as your ultrasonic sound, or simply, para hindi na mahaba yung ultrasonic sound, tawag natin dyan ultrasound. Yung ultrasound po, usually meron po tayong mga creatures na gumagamit po ng ultrasound, no? So for us, we're not able to create ultrasound anymore, and we cannot also hear anything more than 20,000 hertz or the ultrasound. So let's get to talk about different animals, no, or other creatures that use ultrasound for them to communicate. So for example, we have your bats, yung mga paniki po. Talking about your sound and the bats, they use echolocations. They usually navigate, no? The bats don't use their eyes for them to be able to find their food or they hunt for hunting their prey, but they actually emit sound, which is actually ultrasonic sound, for them to be able to know the distance and the location of their prey. Alright, so ang ginagamit mo nila, ultrasonic sound. Now, aside from your bats, we have your dolphins, who also uses echolocation and emits ultrasonic sound. No? They actually emit pulses of 120,000 hertz. So, 20,000 lang po yung reach natin, pero yung mga dolphins po, 120,000 hertz na po sila. Alright? So, ano bang gamit ng ultrasound? This is something that's really very interesting because nagagamit po natin ito. Me, graduating before in the medical field, we use this one as as a way for us to be able to detect something beneath, especially your abdomen or yung stomach area po natin. Alright? In the medical field, we are able to use the ultrasound that actually penetrates through the walls of your stomach or your abdomen. That in that case, no, it creates na what you call yung parang ultrasonic sound that penetrates down to your stomach. Then in that case, if it gets to hit, no, yung mga organs dyan, meron po tayo yung sinasabi natin, pinag-aralan natin before na what you call the phenomenon called reflection, or yung pagbalik ng mga sound whenever they hit a barrier. In that case, yung pagbalik po ng sound and that disturbance that is being caused by the emitting of the ultrasound now will create a digital image in the screen for us to be able to see what's below, no, in our abdomen. Usually kasi ginagawa natin before, we get to open the abdomen and trying to see what's wrong with the abdomen. But right now, because of the advent of technology at naimbento na po yung ultrasound, hindi na po natin kailangang buksan pa yung tiyan para malaman natin kung ano yung problema. So externally pa lang, sa labas pa lang, meron po tayong yung ultrasound na gadget po na iniikot-ikot na parang microphone siya, nilalaro-laro lang dito sa tiyan. Tapos nadidetect po siya. Nakikita po at na-interpret ng doktor kung anong problema sa abdomen. This is also being used for pregnant women, no, for us to be able to reveal the gender of the child, no. Hindi naman po kailangan natin sigurong buksan muna yung tiyan, tingnan natin kung lalaki o babae, tapos saka na naman isasara at itatahi, no. Kaya nauso na po yung sinasabi nating bridal shower ba yung tawag doon? Yung gender reveal celebration, no, sabi pag blue yung lumabas na kulay lalaki, pag pink yung lumabas na kulay babae. Usually western people do that one, no, for gender revelation. All right, so yun nga po, no, it's really amazing that we get to just use sound, and normally we get to hear sound, but meron pa palang gamit yung sound, no, aside from it. All right, meron din tayong ginagamit na ngayon, parang very advanced technology now, or we call that one your CUSA. Yung CUSA po is an acronym for your Cavitron Ultrasonic Surgical Aspirator. So when you talk about your aspirator po, para po siyang humihigop, no? Humihigop ng anything na pwede niya mahigop. But in this case of this new technology right now, inihigop niya po yung mga tumor po. Usually what is being used, for example, meron kang brain tumor, instead of bringing, pero merong tumor na tumubo, no, tapos nandun yung tumor, so hindi naman, tapos ang lit ng tumor to the point na hindi na po kaya ng scissors na putulin yun. So hindi po scissors yung ginagamit natin, but in this case we're using the CUSA. Now the end tip of the CUSA is actually just like a vacuum or an aspirator that uses your ultrasonic sound around 23,000 hertz, no? So 20,000 po yung 20,000 po yung limit ng ears natin, but this is 23,000 hertz. And yung nag-i-emit po yun ng tawag natin ultrasonic sound that causes, no? And when the tip touches the tumor, part of the tumor is broken into smaller pieces. In that case po, matatanggal, madidetach yung tumor, and you get to save that person. Alright, other gamit po ng ultrasound natin is, let's say for example, we have your kidney, no, yung parang bean shape dito po sa, usually mas prominent siya sa likod kaysa sa harap. That's actually part of your urinary system, your kidney. Ito po yung nagfi-filter out po ng mga dumi po sa blood natin, and pag na-filter na po yung dumi ng blood natin, ito na po yung iniihi natin. Now in this case, usually meron tayong mga cases of kidney stones, yung bato sa bato, no? And that meron pong bato yung kidney natin. In that case, because of that, it can cause obstruction or nababara po yung kidneys, na hindi na po nagagawa ng kidney yung tama niyang trabaho. Kaya in that case, instead of opening up the kidney and just taking out the kidney stones, no, pwede pong gumamit ng ultrasound, because that ultrasound causes a very strong vibration, no, through the sound, that it powderizes the stones in the kidney. So hindi na po kailangan buksan. No, sound lang po yung gagamitin. Alright, ginagamit din minsan po ito sa mga cameras. But you get to see that in militaries, they use also what you call this ultrasonic sounds for them to be able to detect anything that is below water. For us to be able to detect an incoming enemy, no, in a military, we get to use what you call yung radar, or with the use of the satellite, the radar is able to detect an incoming enemy. Alright? However, if you are a boat, no, tapos yung kalaban mo submarine, alright? Drawing natin. So, water, tapos let's say for example, you are in the Navy. Alright. May boat dyan. However, kalaban mo is actually a submarine. Alright, nandyan submarine. Alright, the radar cannot anymore detect the one below water because usually it's there's really a very hard time for the radar signals or the radio waves to be able to go underwater. So instead of using radar, this was inspired by the military with the use of the echolocation done by these nocturnal animals like your bats, no, and even your dolphins. That they are, instead of using radio waves or using sound waves this time, for us to be able to detect enemies below water or mga submarines. So in this case, paano ba nadidetect ng isang boat yung submarine? So what they do is actually there is what you call right now a name called tawag po natin dito hindi radar, but we call this one your sonar. Alright? Sonar. So yung sonar po natin, ang acronym po niyan is sound navigation and ranging. Sound navigation and ranging. So ginagamit dito, they send sounds, no, whenever that sound is sent and something hits solid or it hits a barrier, natamaan po yung sound yung sound po na sinin po from the boat going to the submarine. As I mentioned this last time, there is a phenomenon called your reflection. So itong sound po babalik po doon sa gadget ng barko, and it will do some computer algorithms that will be able to know the distance of the enemy and the exact location of the enemy. So hindi po gumamit ng radio waves, instead sound waves. So ganito po ka-importante yung sound po natin. Alright? So pag kayo nasa military and if you plan to be joining the military someday, no, ito po yung ginagamit natin, especially for the Navy and the Marines. Alright? So nakaka-detect sila ng anything underwater through what you call your sonar. For us to be able to summarize everything, we have 3 categories of your sound. We have your infrasonic sound, you have your audible sound, and your ultrasonic sound. So for us to be able to distinguish one from the other, kailangan lang po natin malaman yung gitna, yung audible sound, ano po yung range niya. So yung range po ng audible sound natin is from 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. Anything below 20 Hz is called your infrasonic sound. Anything more than 20,000 Hz is what you call your in ultrasonic sound. Alright, so meron po tayong mga different uses at gamit ng mga yon. So makita po natin that in your infrasonic sound, it is being used for us to monitor your earthquakes and your seismic activities and even your volcanic activities. For your audible sounds, ito po yung naririnig natin, ginagamit po natin ito in the field of communication. Now for your ultrasonic sound, ginagamit po natin ito in the medical field, for pregnant women, for us to be able to cut out mga tumors, that instead of using scissors, we're using that aspirator called CUSA, that at the tip of that CUSA is using an ultrasound, no? For us also, I'd like to emphasize the ones animals are using for them to be able to communicate, called the echolocation, is actually emitting ultrasound or ultrasonic pulses of sound. So yun po yun. Tapos for military also, the ultrasound is being used for them to communicate or even to detect enemies or anything underwater or mga submarines na yan through what you call your sonar or what you call your sound navigation and ranging. So I think that would be all for this lesson. This lesson is kind of short, no? Kaya After this one, I'll be making a quiz after this one that you are to answer. So just to give you heads up, I'm making my own quiz. No, I'm not using the one being preset by your Quipper. Now we get to see that the situation right now, no, from before dati naka-community quarantine lang tayo, but last night nag-declare po si President Duterte ng enhanced community quarantine. So it's a way for us to be able to stay at home, no? Dapat sumunod pa tayo, but I get to see that some few students yesterday, may nakikita po akong mga ibang mga estudyante, some are familiar or nagbabike, naglalakad, hindi ko alam kung saan sila papunta, but let's get to be cooperative, no, sa government, because this is a way for us to be able to lock down and not be the carrier of that disease and ihawa po natin sa ibang tao. When you're at home, I think it's time for us to convert the house into a school, and maybe your parents to become teachers, no? Kasi wala naman din tayong ginagawa, so why not spend something, no? Something productive. What are the things that I get to suggest, no? Kasi minsan yung may iba gusto nang bumalik ng eskwela because naboboring na masyado. Kahit ako gusto ko na yung bumalik ng eskwela, but what I get to suggest for you to do, no, is maybe dahil dito sa enhanced community quarantine, I'd like you to the suggestion number 1, try to learn an instrument, no? I have some few of my guitars here and my basses, pero I already know, but sometimes dahil sa boredom, I get to practice some more, learn some more and enhance my skill. But if you are someone that doesn't know one instrument, maybe it's time for you to learn one instrument. Another one would be try reading books, no? Either pocketbook ba yan, sige, pagbigyan natin yung mga Wattpad nyo, pero at least nagbabasa kayo kaysa wala kayong ginagawa. Another would be siguro like to take care of the plants or mag-garden kayo basta within the range of your house. You can do that, para dumaan yung panahon. Maybe in 1 month nagtanim ka ngayon, in the 1 month na magre-resume na yung klase natin, nagbunga na yung tinatanim mo. So those are just some few suggestions that I can share to you that is the one that I'm actually doing right now. So once again, this is your grade 7 teacher, and I hope that you're doing well, and let's be cooperative po sa gobyerno. So once again, good morning and take care of yourself. God bless.